All right, so let's talk about this option to purchase agreement. This is the simple marketing agreement, as I call it, that you're going to sign with the motivated seller. Now, you understand that this is how you gain equitable interest in the property to be able to market it for this motivated seller. So let's go through a couple things throughout this contract just to make sure that it's clear. I have this literally laminated to the top of my clipboard that I take with me to all of my site visits because I don't want to forget what an optionor is or what an optionee is, or to make sure I don't put the price in the wrong line. So let's go through this really quick. You can read it yourself. Motivated seller is the option or. The motivated seller is the option or. You are the option E. Number one, you put the address of the property. Simple address of the property. The next one is the number three. It's the date you sign the property and then 60 to 90 days from the sign date. I oftentimes get asked, how long do I sign the option agreement for? It's right there, 60 to 90 days. I oftentimes say it takes 30 days to chum the waters, 30 days to get a contract, and 30 days to sign, especially if you're new in the real estate investment world, which you are. That's why you're watching this video. 60 to 90 days is what I prefer that you do. Now, if you can sign it for 30 and they won't go any more than that, it's better than not signing it at all. Then you can prove that you're going to work your tail off to sign it. You can be communicating with them and following up with them on a regular basis, and they're going to see that it's worth them signing up with you to go longer. So the date you go look at that property, that is the date you sign the property on. And then 60 to 90 days from there, that's the next date. Number four, that is the purchase price. That is the price that you and the motivated seller just agreed to. This is not the consideration line. We'll get to that in a minute. This is the purchase price. Please do not get number 4 confused with number 8. Number 4 is the purchase price. Number 6, let's talk about number 6. I get calls all the time. They don't have insurance on this property. Can I just put or cross that out? No, don't cross it out. The reason it's there is to protect you and the seller. If you sign this contract and it burns down, you don't want any question that you're any part of it. So they need to carry insurance. If they decide that they don't want to, or they haven't, or they're not going to, and they refuse to carry insurance on that property, that is at their risk, not yours. So you can put a note on there if you would like that the seller does not have insurance on the property or has opted not to carry insurance on the property. But for your protection, do not take it off the contract. This contract, this agreement was put together for your safety, for your protection, as well as the motivated sellers. This was put together by an attorney, so please leave every line on it. Number 7, that is the how much that you're willing to pay of the motivated seller's closing costs. Again, I often get asked, how much should I consider for closing costs? First of all, I don't ever give closing costs. I personally don't ever say that I will pay for closing costs. The motivated seller will pay for theirs, I will pay for mine, or the buyer will pay for theirs. I never say that I'm going to pay for closing costs unless I can negotiate. So instead of giving up my profit, I'm going to give up how much I'm going to pay for closing costs. So I would negotiate a lower price and I would put a little bit of money towards the closing costs. Also, quick note, you cannot put all closing costs on that line. It must be a number, a maximum number. So don't put all closing costs on there in negotiation. You cannot do that. Again, that is a negotiation piece for me. I have investors that will say that I'll pay up to $500 on every single contract they fill out. That is your choice. You decide that. Number 8, the optionor grants this option for the consideration of 99.9999% of the time. I put $1 there. I have signed $1.6, $1.8 million properties on an option to purchase agreement for $1. You have a $10 bill in your pocket, sign it for $10. I don't care. I have some investors that put $100. You got that kind of money to throw away, put it on there. I'm fine with it. I put $1 on there. I've often also been asked, Nick, how do you make it to where it's not a big deal to them? First of all, if you make it a big deal, they're going to make it a big deal. If you don't make it a big deal, it's not going to be a big deal to them. So I would say something like, state law requires that we have a change of hands of something in order for this contract to be legal. So I'm going to buy you a cup of coffee or a cheeseburger or whatever you want to say, a pop down at the gas station. That's how I portray it. And I literally make a joke out of it. Yes, I've had motivated sellers throw that money back in my face. Cool, I'll put it back in my pocket. They just signed that they got it. I'm cool with it. Then you would sign at the bottom in the optionee line. I often also get asked, do I put my business name there or do I put my name there? Yes. Put your company name, then you would put your name, and then depending on how you laid it out, I am not an attorney, but on mine I would put my name, my company name, and then below it my name, and then put MBR or MGR, which is manager. So, or member. So it depends on my attorney and what they like to see there. I've put owner on there and it goes through just fine. And I'll also put a date because that lets everybody know that's the date that it was signed. We want this date here to match this date here, up here in 3. So also, this is not the end of it. So if you are working with a motivated buyer that's really interested in the property, there's not enough profit there for you to be able to sell it. You can go back to that motivated seller and negotiate a lower price. See, the reason I say when in doubt, sign it is because of that. If at the end of this time, you finally have a seller that's interested, you can go back with a proven hard number buyer and negotiate that price down to where you can make some money on it. Also, I would recommend that you contact your coach, that you go ahead and make sure that the paperwork is orchestrated in such a way that you put the most money in your pocket as possible. This agreement for me has never been a problem, and most of my investor clients have never had an issue with this. So just lay it out. This is a marketing agreement, which essentially it is, because you're getting equitable interest to be able to sell the property. If you have any questions, reach out to your coach. Otherwise, happy investing.